Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for the first full moon of October, occurring on October 1st, 2020. It's going to be at 5:05 p.m. Eastern Time, but of course times, as always, will vary. Okay, so I'm vickieverlie, the rock and roll prophetess. I do psychic tarot, psychic astrology, channeling, and a whole bunch of other stuff. You can find out more about me from my website, over links below. And this is a psychic interpretation of the full moon chart, as all my astrology readings are. So if you are a very by the book astrologer, this probably isn't going to be the reading for you. But if you're open to and enjoy, coloring outside the lines, this would be. Also, by the same token, if you don't understand astrology and think this looks like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, just hang in there, because it's going to get more and more loose as we move through it. Okay, so let's get started. So here's that new moon, the full moon, excuse me, it's in Aries and it's conjunct Chiron. So wow. I was just seeing Mars, the reason I bring up Mars, if you're not familiar, Mars is with Lilith too, we're going to have to talk about that one. But because Mars is the ruler of Aries, so it's this Mars-Aries energy that's really going to be, the full moon is shining its light upon. It's really going to come to culmination. And this year, Mars has been in Aries in its own sign for an inordinate amount of time. It's been going practically the whole year. I'm not going to look it up right now. You could find out on your own. But it's been months and months that Mars has been in Aries. And this is very unusual for Mars to stay in any sign for such a long period of time. But in particular, it's its own sign. So it's even more powerful. It's resonating even more strongly. Mars doesn't like to be pent up, too. That's another thing that I'm getting about it. I think the Mars in the Aries, because the positive part is we want to go, do. And then, of course, with the pandemic, we can't go, do much of anything. We're all kind of been stuck here. That's number one. And then number two, it's like it wants to get out of there. It doesn't like to stay in one thing for a very long time, even if it's its own house or its own sign here. It's wanting to get out. It's like they're showing me like a ram, but it reminds me more of like a rodeo. They're showing me like whatever that would be, a big bull or something, or with big horns, and it's pounding at the door. It wants to get out. It doesn't like being pent up like that. So that's why I think this has contributed largely to all the people being so frustrated and angry that's been going on here lately, just at large, in the population at large, totally on social media, all this kind of stuff. So it's conjuncting Chiron now. So Aries is the zero, it's the first, it's the new. So it's really not thinking, it doesn't always get into a lot of deep energy. It really isn't. It's more be in the here and now, let's get things done, let's get things started, go. So this Chiron is very deep. Chiron is very deep. It goes, looks at deep issues of how we've wounded ourselves over and over again. When you everybody orders a soul reading, that's one of the big things we look at in the soul reading. And that's, if you're interested, not even in my reading, but look in your own chart where your Chiron is. That is where you've wounded yourself time and time again. And it's a continuing pattern in this lifetime, but it also stems back to other lifetimes as well. So as a collective, this is where we've been wounding ourselves over and over again. And this connection with this full moon, and it's really coming into play. We're really going to become aware of it. We can really dig down and really get to the root of it. Because Chiron, it can be very painful to deal with Chiron stuff. It often is. It's often where we have our most pain in our life, in our charts. So these are the most painful and ugly and things that are hard to look at, wanting to come forward, wanting to be expressed, wanting to come out. When I was saying those words about the painful and ugly, the underbelly, I was thinking Pluto came to mind, that's very much a Pluto kind of a thing. And Pluto's with Saturn again, and the Jupiter's there, but Jupiter's really bringing forward a similar vibration of getting to this deep, dark, shadow work, shadow stuff, and doing something about it. And often when we discover these big painful memories, or maybe part of the reason that often we don't want to look at them or deal with them is because it brings up frustration, anger. You know, one of the first emotions will be anger. You know, that's that curve, that the stages of grief, actually. And Chiron is definitely connected to grief. Yeah. It's something that causes us grief in our lives as an individual and as a collective. So, you know, that there's this anger. That's one of the first things that comes forward, where we get very angry about it. And we have to remember with Chiron, you know, even though it can show us these ugly things, show us these, you know, a lot of times it's these points where we're stuck, where we get stuck in our lives. And it may just show you why. You know, you may just have this reason, you know, understanding of why the Chiron, you know. It may become blatantly obvious. Yeah, definitely. That's what the guides came through with. Like with a lot of the things that are going on now, it's becoming, it's not so hidden or covert. You know, it's becoming blatantly, it's in your freaking face. You know, it's right in your face. And that can be the aggressive, Mars and Aries is aggression. You know, it could be that aggressive side. You know, it's like right in your face. So, but ultimately, Chiron wants to heal. That's the ultimate energy, goal, vibration of Chiron, the wounded healer. So we're examining these wounds, and anger and a lot of emotions, frustration, you know, a lot of aggression, you know, a lot of there's negative and positive sides to every sign in every planet. So some of that negative stuff can be coming forward, but then we can go ahead and apply the positive part of it, which is the positive part of the Mars-Aries energy is ambition, going forward, summoning that energy, summoning that force to do something about it, you know, to take action, to not not allow it to fester anymore, not allow it to stay, you know, pull it out and look right at it, you know, just pull it out and look right at it. Speaking of Mars, it's also in its own, well, we were talking about Mars at its own sign, but it's making there's a big thing happening with Mars too, as it's conjuncting Lilith. So talk about not going to take any shit anymore, you know. I mean, there could be some major eruptions happening around this time, I'm not going to lie, but you know, it's like stay calm. That's the biggest thing, stay calm in the storm. You know, I'm doing all this I'm channeling the second book already. And that's one of the big things they keep, you know, pressing, is staying calm, finding peace. You know, the one thing that they said that I love, and you know, it's saying light workers could also be called keepers of the peace. So if you are, I think most people watching this are interested in higher consciousness and spiritual growth, be a keeper of the peace. Because there's some tumultuous shit going down, man. It's going down, you know, and so be the keeper of the peace. That's the path. Well, the sun is in Libra. And talk about the keeper of the peace, you know, Libra, the scales of justice, keepers of the peace. Libras always try to be fair and see all sides of things, you know. Venus, energy ruled by Venus, which is definitely of love, coming from a place of love. So that's a way that we can kind of, I mean, it could be real easy to get drawn into it. Mars and Lilith, because Lilith is, you know, Lilith gets a bad rap, but I'm always a fan of Lilith. You know, she just wasn't going to be subservient to Adam anymore. I'm watching Vikings again, the History Channel show Vikings. I love that show. I know I must have lived in that time. I haven't seen a specific lifetime, but I just vibe so strong with it. But the lady, the main, I wish I don't know these characters' names. But the one who was married to the main guy, and he comes home with this princess who's pregnant from this other land. He's like, yeah, we can work it out, and we'll all live together. And she's just like, oh, I'm leaving, you know. I'm packing my shit and leaving. No talking, no nothing. It's just like, and she's like, you disrespected me. You did this to me. I'm out of here. You know, she just left. Even though she still loved him deeply, you know. that's the Lilith thing, you know. It's just like, you know what, you are not going to talk to me like that. You are not going to treat me like that. And it doesn't have to be. Lilith also didn't want to go kill and destroy Adam. You know, she's just like, I'm not going to be treated like this. You know, you could do what you want to do, but, you know, in dignity. Lilith has a big dignity about her. I know she comes off, a lot of people want to paint Lilith as this, you know, ferocious beast of some kind, but really she just, you know, she wasn't trying to get back at Adam or get back to, you know, back to that. She was done with that situation and ready to move on, you know. And that's this Mars energy. We're all ready to move on. We're done with this situation. We're done with the pandemic. You know, we're done with a lot of things, and we're ready to move on. So we just have to be mindful and of where we're directing our energy. This is some powerful forces at work here, major powerful forces. How we direct it, how we use it, how we honor it is what's coming through. How we honor it. Honor, dignity, you know, these are the words, peacekeeper, these are the words that are coming through and that we could look toward or emulate for the highest possible outcome and good for all. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm getting a drink of water here again. Got some stuff in my throat. Anyways, what else is happening here? The Uranus is like an in conjunct or whatever to the sun here, this 9 degrees, and it's also with the moon here. So the Uranus is involved in this. So Uranus too, I mean, it could be a hair trigger. Uranus, you think of a bomb going off, or, you know, it could really, like, I don't want to go there, but I mean, this could be some kind of big riot kind of vibe, totally, you know. So, or somebody could do some crazy shit, just lose it, you know, and do some crazy, go postal, you know, that's what's coming through. But also, if we go, there's always a positive and negative, right? So what's the positive side of Uranus? Well, Uranus is unpredictable. And Uranus, the unpredictability combined with the combustible Mars anger that's being all pent up, you know. Somebody could just flip a switch and lose it. But the positive side of it is Uranus is invention. Uranus is the new. Uranus is finding these new solutions. Not just being, you know, when we're angry about whatever we're angry about, we're amplifying the energy, you know. This is some amplified energy, everybody. Talk about amplified energy, it's amplifying. So we, again, how are we going to direct it, and what energy do you want to amplify? What do you want to be a part of amplifying at this time? And we should really be conscious. People of good heart, you know, be very conscious of where you direct your energy at this time. That was coming straight from the guides, yeah. So yeah, people of good heart. Get in that space. Be of good heart. Because we all have a good heart, or we'd like to think we do. But then when you go on social media and you see the stuff that people are spewing out, it's just disturbing. I mean, I'm less and less on there. I go on and just look at my groups and different things that I'm interested in real quickly and get the hell out of there. Because it's just, ugh. It's just so, ugh. I need to take a shower after I scroll through my social media to get rid of all that energy, right? So people of good heart, it is a time to join together, yes. And spread the word of hope. Yes, that's what they're saying. I like that. All right. So people of good heart, spread the word of hope. Let's look at this stuff up here. We've got this, this is still very, I mean, I'm still actually doing these ingress charts till the end of next week, if anybody wants one, but this is going on too this is very similar to the ingress chart. You know, it's only a week or so after. And we've got the stellium here in the Capricorn. We've got the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto is at the same point that Pluto was at back in January. That's the first couple weeks of January when we had that big eclipse and we had that, the exact Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Well, Saturn is conjunct Pluto again. Pluto and Saturn are together again. Not exactly, but Pluto is 22 degrees exactly where it was back in January. So everything that's happening right now, for many of us, there's going to be some kind of a tie-in or reconnect to what happened in the first couple weeks of January. For many, it could be like a resolution or revolution. I said that in a few of the private readings that I did about this. But what's good about it, Jupiter's here, and it could really be, like Jupiter could really be amplifying the energy, sure. But Jupiter is also sextiling Neptune. And the Neptune Pisces energy, Neptune Pisces, 12th house energy, it's all about, I mean, used in its highest form, it's as always, there's the two fish. The fish swims upward and the fish swims downward. The fish that swims downward can get, caught up in drugs, alcohol, escapism. It's either escaping reality or transcending reality. And in order to grow and move forward in the most positive expression, like we were just talking about of Uranian energy, some transcending of reality needs to happen for a lot of people. We've got to step outside of all this crap. When you're down in it, you have to rise up. Yeah, rise up. See it from the bigger picture. Be like that eagle soaring, or that hawk soaring over it all. The hawk can see it all. They could see the whole landscape. They could pull themselves out of that vibration and soar to a higher level, literally. They literally are in a higher vibratory rate. And it's, what's coming to mind too is, I think this might have been in the book, but when humans, when we go to like really high altitudes, we have trouble breathing because we can't, we're not acclimated to it, So it takes some getting used to. It takes some getting acclimated toward. It's not that easy. It's usually, you won't just flip a switch. And if you're fighting and it's not like you can just all of a sudden, unless you have, maybe you're in the Neptune, you have some severe mental problems. But for most part, people, it's a gradual thing. It's not that easy to just jump, especially if you're in a state of anger and So it takes some, it's a continuum. It's a continuum. The way they're showing it to me, I'm seeing like a ball of energy here, like this is this Mars, and it's all red and black and tangled up like crazy, and like a big tangled ball of string yarn all tangled together, and there's sparks coming out of it. It's like it's not a nice place to be. And then I have this other image up here of this different kind of white, smooth ball of light, almost like the sun or the moon. Definitely the moon. It is the moon, yeah. And then I should try to draw it. Well, maybe I could draw it. It's going to take me a while. I'm not going to bother trying to get it out. But what it's doing is, in between these two balls, there is this, from this white energy, there's this swooping down of this white aura and this white kind of light, and it's here. So this isn't going to just jump to here, but it could like pull it a little bit out of there, just pull it a little bit into lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter until it gets to the full spectrum, to where it's really shining and glowing. And that's the most highest expression, I feel, of this full moon energy. That's what I'm being shown. So again, people of good heart. I have to rewind the tape, but that was a good one that came through. People of good heart are being called at this time to raise consciousness in every way you can, wherever you are, wherever you find it yourself. That's what they're saying. Okay, so it's intensity. I mean, I opened that chart and saw that. It was like, wow, it hit me. It just hit me. And so, I'm getting that song, hit me with your rhythm stick. Hit me. Hit me. That came up in somebody's reading, or one of their readings. That's not the first time in recently that song's popped in. Maybe I need to go look at the lyrics of that a little deeper. But yeah. So it's good. And the other thing I just spotted in this chart here is the part of fortune is conjunct Venus. Nice. Even though it's in different signs, it's 28 Leo and 0 or 1 degree of Virgo. You know, that's the part of fortune is the way to go. That's for the most fortunate outcome, for the most fortunate expression of all the energy that's happening at this moment. This is it. Go towards the Venus. Like we said, Sun's in Libra. Venus, love. Love is the answer. I mean, it really is. Love is the answer. And if you don't, if all this stuff about me talking about higher vibrations and everything, if that sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to you, then just think of it as love. That's it. Love is one, if not the highest vibration that we can express in 3D reality, in earth form. So, you know, love is the answer. Todd Rundgren said, love is the answer, baby. Okay, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks so much for tuning in and checking out all my stuff. I've got the books, the decks, and you know, all the stuff that I have. It's all on my website. If you want to check it out, you can see it there, and everything's below. All how to get a reading, everything that I have is below. If you like my material and want to see more of it, this content, please do hit the subscribe button. I want to thank everybody who already has subscribed and who likes and shares and comments and does purchase my different wares. And there's many of you, I'm just finishing up these ingress readings, and I want to thank everybody. There's many of you that purchase these ingress readings religiously, and they really get a lot out of them, and I want to especially thank, you know, those people, because, you know, once they get them, they want them every quarter, you know, and it can be very insightful, but, you know, whatever you like. It's all up to you. The biggest thing is right now, let's be of the higher vibration, let's be of love. Because there's some gnarly stuff a-brewing over here with this full moon. And it's the other thing I was thinking of is the first of the month. And many people that are, and there's more and more people during this pandemic who have like government assistance. Like I live in the city, and when the first of the month comes, look out, all hell's breaking loose anyway, because everybody gets their money and they're out partying and they're going crazy, and because the government checks come in around the first of the month. So that combined with, you know, it being a full moon and all this, you know, it's pretty intense, you know. And, you know, when people indulge in a lot of drugs and alcohol, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I mean, I don't drink, but I mean, people like to get drunk, whatever, that's your business. But, you know, people who get really drunk, maybe they're able to control their demons or keep them a little bit at bay, you know. And I you know, many of you know, my regular viewers, that I grew up in a bar, and my parents owned a bar my whole life, you know. So I've seen it up close and personal. And it's funny, you know, actually, it's a little side note, I actually feel like this is something I came upon. I don't know if it's any book anywhere, but I think I feel like when people get drunk, their moon sign really starts to come out. That's what happens. So, like, I've seen people, like, with Scorpio moons or Aries moons, when they get drunk, I mean, they'll just, you know, they're going to fight, or, you know, somebody's, what do you mean? And they can get real mean, you know, that negative side of that can come out of them. When, you know, many people, when they get drunk, their personality completely changes, you know. Oh, they're such a nice person, and then when they got drunk, you know, they get violent, and they get, you know, whatever. And it has nothing to do with people who are on government assistance or not, but it's just the point, it's just all fuel to the fire, you know. Well, back to the moon thing real quick, like, I have Sag moon, and when I did drink, I was always a happy drunk, you know. I have Capricorn sun, and I'm always kind of serious, introvert, everything. And then, but when I drank, I was always kind of, you know, I lightened up a lot. I was always a happy, fun-loving, drunk, typical, you know, Sagittarian energy would come through me. And like I said, people who, you know, I've seen people that I know that would get violent in me, and I know they had Scorpio moons. I mean, being in the bar was a low vibration, but it was a great, I mean, I was into astrology for, you know, most of my adult life, definitely when I was tending bar and working there. And it was a great study, you know, it was a great study. I knew everybody's sign, and I knew a lot of their charts, you know, the regulars. And just, it was a great first-hand study, you know, of behavioral traits of people. And not only that, but like as far as love readings and stuff, I you know, all these couples who have been together a really long time, like one that comes to mind right away is I've seen many times Leos and Tauruses, long-term marriages. And if you were to look at an astrology book, they would say, oh no, they're too fixed, they're fire and worth, it's not going to work. And I've seen that combination work in several couples that stay together for, their whole lives, were Taurus and Leo sun signs. And just from my people in the bar, watching the people in the bar. And then another one that's not really compatible, but I've seen, is Cancer and Libra. I've seen Cancer and Libra couples stay together for very long periods of time. And that's also, that's a square, and they're both cardinal, and it's air and earth, and it shouldn't work, blah, blah, blah. But, so it was a blessing in a lot of different ways, looking back on it. But that was one of the great gifts that I got out of my years in the bar. I had like a first-hand laboratory there for my astrology studies, just watching these people. But anyways, I got off on a little off track there. I don't know how that happened. Oh, we were talking about being the first of the month too, yeah. And people party on the first of the month. They party because they might not have enough money to party at any other time, and so their inhibitions come down and shit goes down a lot of times, and it being a full moon. So it's going to be kind of a double whammy. So anybody who's interested in higher consciousness or, the light worker, keepers of peace, let's get to some peacekeeping. We're going to have to bring out those light shields and those peacekeeping, and let's bring that vibe, and they're showing me a blanket. Like, let's put a blanket of light over it. Because what happens, this is fire energy. What do you do if there's a fire? You throw a blanket over it to put it out, So that's kind of what they're showing me. Not in a forceful way. What I'm seeing is, I'm seeing like a full moon in the sky, and then I'm seeing that same shimmery white that I saw coming down into the ball here. I'm seeing it like kind of like a mist kind of settling in over all the the cities and towns and in the world here. So that might be a good kind of visualization if anybody wants to join in and try to do that on the 1st here. That might be something kind of cool to try. It reminds me of like what does it remind me of? Like Mary Poppins or something. The town that they're showing me, it reminds me of like Mary Poppins, but I just see this misty blanket is the best word for it. Anyways, let's wrap this baby up. Full moon in Aries, potentially some combustible energy. Let's be of the light, let's be of love. That's the way to go, people of good heart. Let's do this. Okay, see you next time. Bye.